Hey everyone, I'm Kris Wolfe with GoodGuySwag.com, and I'm here with my brother Ben Davies.
It's good to be here. I've been waiting to do some Good Guy swag for a while.
Yeah, this is a good time too because Ben is starring in the movie I'm Not Ashamed, which just hit theaters this weekend. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's about the life of Rachel Scott. And you don't know who Rachel Scott was. She was the first victim killed in the Columbine shootings. And a lot of you might have known her by the fact that she actually was asked, "Do you believe in God?" And she said, "You know I do," and then they shot her and said, "Then go join him." That's kind of how she became known. But this movie looks at her life, and it's kind of like a biopic of her life. So, I mean, it's been like 17 years since Columbine. Why now?
Yeah, well, anytime you're telling a story that has so many different things involved with it, like Columbine, I mean, there were so many people hurt, so much tragedy in that. It takes a while for you to let the dust settle and for the Lord to really let that hope and that light shine through tragedy. And that's what this movie was. They had to wait for the right time, the right opportunity, and the mother was very specific. Beth Nemo, who was a terrific woman that I was able to meet on set, she felt like she wanted her daughter's story to be told the right way. And there were some studios that were interested in it, but to tell her story, they wanted to focus more on Columbine and not so much like her faith, which would take away from her life. Because for Rachel, everything that she wrote about in her journals was about Jesus and wanting to touch people for Him and wanting to reach out and touch millions of people's hearts, which she always said, and make a difference in this world. And if you take Jesus out of that, it's not her story anymore, it's someone else's. And she really wanted to have a really personal, intimate story just about Rachel. And the reason they were able to do that was because Rachel took meticulous notes her entire life of her journals and her failures and her flaws and the things that she was struggling with in high school and in social settings that are so crippling so often. But through those, you also see those moments where she decided to step out, to be that light and to love that person unconditionally or go out and do the uncool thing to do this. And it's those moments that changed everyone's life at the end of the movie, which it's been incredible, and I think it's worth the wait to have a movie like this come out now.
Yeah, and by the way, the movie is based on her journal entries. So Chris and I went and saw it this past Friday with Ben actually, and something that we didn't realize was that she interacted with the two Columbine shooters. You kind of think that this might have been a big school and she didn't know them, but it turns out they were in the same theater class. I mean, they were rubbing shoulders left and right. Yeah. What are some things you can tell us about Rachel that probably a lot of people out there don't know? Because I honestly didn't know much about her at all.
Well, what was great about her is she's not like a superhero or a saint. Like, she's just like everyone else. The only thing that's different about her is she allowed Jesus to work in her life in an unconditional way. And we all have those opportunities. And you can see the payoff when you decide to not live your life in the casual, easy, even keel way. What can happen? I mean, your life can be that inspiring, that motivational, and what is so interesting about this specific story, because I've been a part of some really cool movies, and in movies you have a writer go in there and think, okay, what character can I create and what situation can I put them in that would be the most interesting. But what's great about this movie is because it's all based on her life and her journals, every person is real, every incident is real as we could make it, in a movie, but they're all based on real events. And even in the movie, every voiceover is word for word taken from either my character or hers.
Yeah.
And even the props, like the gloves in the movie, like I talked about, there's a handprint on a dresser. Those are really the ones that she had.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So even those things were taken we tried to make it as real as possible, but then also keep it what it needs to be, and that is an entertaining movie. And because she lived her life that way, we were able to just condense it into an hour and a half that I think can change someone's life when they watch it.
Yeah, and that's something that I thought was so awesome about the movie is she's depicted as being very real. She has her struggles just like all of us, and but at the same time she becomes a heroine. I mean, there's a school program, and you and I were talking about this, and it's the top school program that's run in the country. You probably know more about it. I'll just let you tell them about it because I don't know much about it.
Oh yeah, there's a school program called Rachel's Challenge that's gone all across the country, and she felt like the calling of her life was going to touch millions of people's hearts. And through this program, 22 million people have heard live events, and 4 people have come forward and said they were going to do something like this. They were going to have a mass killing kind of thing, but hearing her story stopped 4 people.
Yeah.
And stories like that I think are so powerful. And then even for us as men, I think there's also a tremendous message in that because as it's good guy swag talking about guys being hold themselves to a higher standard, being the guys they're supposed to be. And my character in the movie, it's so cool to see him because he was dejected, the last person you think who would be like a noble guy. Like everyone saw him as a bad person, that's not who he was.
Yeah.
And when Rachel went out of her way to befriend him, he was able to have a honest, pure, incredible relationship that would, I think all guys desire to have. Because at our core, I feel like we want to protect things that are the most important to us. And when you hold yourself to that standard and are shown how to live like Rachel showed him how to live, you can do that. And I think it's a really good challenge too for guys that get to watch the movie.
Yeah, something that really encouraged me is that just to sum it up, because we're coming to the end here.
Oh, sorry guys, I can talk for days.
Well, of course we can. But the thing that really just touched me was the fact that it just takes one act to really make a difference in the lives of many, and in this case, of millions of people. And you have a girl like Rachel Scott, who her just one heroic act has literally impacted, like you said, 22 million kids across or high school students across the U.S. And then also the killers, unfortunately, you know, their one act has impacted millions of people as well for the negative. So for all the good guys out there, just remember that whatever you're doing counts. Thanks, Ben Davies, for being on here, and go and see I'm Not Ashamed. It's in theaters right now. How do people go and find it?
Oh, you can find it. It's released nationwide right now. So if you go to fandango.com, it'll pull up all the closest theaters to you, and you can buy your tickets there.
So good. Don't miss it.
Thanks, guys.